This is the TechniSat DIGITRADIO 10IR. It's a DAB, internet radio and Bluetooth receiver that connects up to a hi-fi system. It also receives FM radio stations, can play podcasts and has Spotify Connect. There are a few versions of the DIGITRADIO 10 without all of these features, but this is the 10IR and has a recommended retail price of €119. This unit was delivered to the UK from Amazon.de for about €95 or £82. This is the box for the DIGITRADIO 10IR. In the box is the device itself. We've got a remote control, a couple of leads, a stereo phono lead to connect up to our hi-fi or amplifier, a power lead, it's USB-A to Mini B. We've got our wire antenna as well, that can be plugged into the back of the device. And we've got a USB adapter. It is the Euro plug type, so if you're in the UK you will need a 3-pin adapter to be able to plug into a UK wall socket. We've also got some guarantee information and an instruction manual as well. This is quite comprehensive, but the one that's in the box is in German. If you want to download the English version, you can get a PDF from the TechniSat website. On the back of the receiver is an input for the aerial, an optical digital output, stereo analog output and a USB Mini B connector for power. Once everything is plugged in and the device is switched on, the setup wizard will start. This is pretty easy and doesn't require a smartphone or a PC to go through. Then it will scan for DAB stations. Reception was okay with the included antenna, but it was better with the roof aerial we installed previously. In the DAB mode we can see the station name and the scrolling text on the display. There's also the clock and a signal strength meter. You can browse stations with the remote control because there's no buttons at all on the device itself, so we can go up and down the station list and the radio will then tune straight into that station. We can also press the back button if you prefer to browse a list of stations, and then we can scroll through and pick something else to listen to and then press OK to confirm. The remote control has some dedicated buttons for presets, so you can set those up as well. Switching between the modes is pretty simple. Press the mode button once and it will go on to the next mode. So go on to FM here, and then again you can just press the up and down buttons or hold them down to scan to the next station. I've connected to the Wi-Fi so we can use the internet radio mode and listen to some online stations. We can get there by pressing the mode button on the remote until we get to internet radio. It will go to the station that you were listening to last when you were last in the internet radio mode, and you see the station name, a little bit of information, and a lot of stations have a little picture that comes up as well. It's a good idea to set some presets because there are just so many stations online in the directory that it is much quicker just to have some presets set up and then you can switch between them. The switching between stations is quite quick. For some of them it's actually not that much different to switching between stations on DAB. If you have some stations in mind that you want to listen to, you can go to the menu, go to the station list, and then you can browse by location or browse by genre. If you have a station in mind, it does take quite a while to find it because there are just so many stations in the list. But if you just like to browse and maybe you just want to find a station, you can do that by location or genre. We'll go through here, see if we can find a jazz station to listen to. So the remote is quite good and responsive, and the screen is pretty good. The text is nice and clear, so it makes browsing for stations quite easy. So we've chosen worldwide and called jazz. We go to show stations, and we'll just try this one here. And you can see that's tuned in and we've got the information about that station. So browsing is quite quick and easy, but if you have favourite stations you'd like to listen to, definitely set those up as presets. If you want to listen to your music and your podcasts from a smartphone or tablet, you can do that with the built-in Bluetooth mode. I've paired a phone with the device and we can see at the moment the track information and the buttons on the top of the remote control for skipping backwards and forwards and pausing and playing. They all work as you would expect. And you can see that the track information changes on the display. Sound quality is fine. The only thing I did find was that it can be difficult and slow to connect up with paired devices. So if you change to a different mode or you switch it off and come back another time to use the Bluetooth mode, it didn't always want to connect up with my Android smartphone. I'm not sure if that's an issue with all phones or just this particular device, but once you are connected, it all seems to work pretty normally. As well as Bluetooth, the DigiTradio 10 IR has Spotify Connect. So if you're a Spotify user and you have the app installed on your smartphone or your tablet, you can listen to music through the device that way. So we'll go over to the Spotify mode, and then we can play something off the phone, and it comes up actually quite quickly on the device, and we get the album art as well. Once you've started something off, you can use the control buttons on the normal remote to skip through songs, and that works quite well. It's actually very quick and works quite nicely. So that's quite convenient if you don't want to keep getting your phone out and unlocking it to change music. You have the option of using the remote. The unit can also be controlled with the TechniSat Connect app. You can change the station, source, and browse things like podcasts. This could be more convenient than using the remote control, for example when browsing internet radio stations, but it's more of a nice to have rather than a necessity. The app also shows a graphic for stations like the BBC's national services. If you like listening to podcasts, you can do that in the podcast mode by pressing the mode button once. The device will play the podcast you're listening to last, but it doesn't seem to return to where you left off. So I was about 5 minutes into this podcast, and we can see on the display it's gone back to the start there. You can browse podcasts by going to the menu button and then the podcast list. Like the internet stations, you can browse by location, or you can browse by genre, and you can search for a podcast that you know about. So there are an awful lot of podcasts in the list, a lot of the ones that you'll recognise, and lots of others that you maybe haven't heard of. So it is good to browse through the list, and then you can pick an episode as well that you want to listen to. So to sum up, I think this is a really good device. All of the modes work well. DAB, FM, the internet radio, very good. Bluetooth is good as well. Useful to have the option to listen to podcasts and Spotify Connect. Remote control is very good. It feels nice in the hand. The buttons are nice and clicky, so it's quite nice to use that. And the interface is fast as well. You don't have to wait a long time for things to happen, which is good. As you saw earlier on, the reception on DAB and FM is okay, but it is much better if you do have the option of a roof-mounted aerial or one in the loft. I think that makes quite a nice difference. I think it looks good as well. This is just an old hi-fi amplifier. If you already have a hi-fi amplifier or a microsystem like this, I think it's a great addition. If you were to look at a DAB hi-fi tuner for about the same money, it would take up more space and you wouldn't have the same connectivity. So I think this is really good. And it goes as well with the black and silver finish here. Things it doesn't have, on the back it would have been good to have a wired network connection. There is a network lead behind these shelves, so the lack of an RJ45 port is a bit disappointing, but the device is quite small and the Wi-Fi has been okay here. Something else that DigiTradio 10 IR doesn't have is the ability to stream music from a home media server. You will need to use Bluetooth and an app to stream your own music collection. You can see more about this device on the website and see where to buy online by following the link in the description below.